The Galactic Council chamber erupted in a cacophony of clicks, chirps, and guttural laughter as the holographic display flickered to life. 23 vessels. That was all humanity had sent to the negotiation point at the edge of Krovar space. Ambassador Thexnel of the Krovar Dominion's multiple eye stalks quivered with barely contained amusement. His carapace gleamed under the chamber's artificial lighting as he gestured toward the projection with one of his 6 manipulator arms. This, he hissed through his translator implant, is what the vaunted species of Earth sends to demonstrate their military capability. 23 ships? His mandibles clicked in derision. My personal guard fleet numbers in the hundreds. The other delegates murmured their agreement. The insectoid Vresh representative chittered something that the translators rendered as contemptuous laughter. Even the normally diplomatic Zenthari, crystalline beings who prided themselves on neutrality, seemed to shimmer with what could only be interpreted as skepticism. Commander Sarah Chen stood at the human delegation's podium, her expression unreadable. She was a small woman by human standards, barely reaching the chest height of the towering Krovar ambassador, but she carried herself with a composure that had taken her through 3 colonial wars and countless first contact scenarios. Ambassador Thexnel, she said calmly, her voice cutting through the noise like a precision laser. You seem to have misunderstood the nature of our fleet. Misunderstood? Thexnel's laughter boomed across the chamber. What is there to misunderstand? Your entire military presence in this sector consists of 24 primitive vessels. The Dominion alone controls this region with over 4,000 warships. The mathematics are quite clear. Chen's lips curved into the faintest hint of a smile. You're correct that those 23 ships represent our entire military presence in this sector. She paused, letting her words hang in the air. What they don't represent is our military capability. The chamber fell silent. Confusion rippled through the assembled delegates like a wave through water. I don't follow, Thexnel said, his amusement fading into irritation. Those 23 vessels aren't our fleet, Ambassador, Chen explained, her tone remaining perfectly neutral. They're the Recon force. Specifically, they're Scout Group 7 of the Outer Rim Reconnaissance Division. She tapped her datapad, and the holographic display shifted. The image of the 23 ships expanded, revealing technical specifications that made several delegates lean forward with sudden interest. Each vessel you see is equipped with FTL-capable autonomous drones, quantum entanglement communication arrays, and enough sensor equipment to map every gravitational anomaly within 15 light-years. Chen's voice took on a lecturing quality, as if she were teaching a class of particularly slow students. They're not designed for combat, though they can certainly defend themselves. They're designed to see everything, relay that information instantaneously, and ensure that our actual military assets know exactly where they're needed. The Vresh delegate's translator crackled. Your actual military assets? Yes, Chen pulled up another display. This one showed a star chart with multiple colored indicators spreading across hundreds of systems. The Terran Defense Fleet operates on a distributed response model. We don't park massive fleets in every sector like expensive paperweights. We maintain reconnaissance presence and deploy overwhelming force only where and when it's needed. Thexnel's eye stalks contracted. You're bluffing. Trying to compensate for your obvious weakness, am I? Chen's smile widened fractionally. Computer, display current disposition of TDF Battle Group Orion. The hologram shimmered and reformed. This time it showed not 23 ships, but 647 vessels of varying classes, all bearing the insignia of the Terran Defense Fleet. The ships were arranged in a holding pattern around a massive station that dwarfed anything in the Krovar arsenal. Battle Group Orion is currently stationed 15 light-years from here, Chen continued. They received telemetry from Scout Group 7 approximately 47 minutes ago. Their jump calculations are complete. They can be here in 11 minutes. The chamber remained silent, but the quality of that silence had changed. It was no longer skeptical. It was calculating. That's one battle group, the Zenthari representative chimed, their crystalline voice resonating with new interest. How many such groups does humanity maintain? That information is classified, Chen replied. But I can tell you that Battle Group Orion is considered a medium-strength deployment. We have larger ones. Thexnel's carapace had lost some of its luster. You're saying that what we mocked as your entire fleet was merely... Scouts? Recon Force, Chen corrected gently. And yes, humanity learned something important during our early expansion into space, Ambassador. We learned it the hard way. Through conflicts with pirates, rogue AI, and the occasional hostile alien encounter. She gestured to the holographic display. We learned that the side with better information wins more often than the side with bigger guns. Though, she added with a slight shrug, we've invested heavily in bigger guns too. She pulled up one final image. This one showed a ship unlike anything the Council had seen before. It was massive, easily twice the size of the Krovar Dominion's largest dreadnought, and bristling with weapon emplacements that made several delegates gasp audibly. This is the TDFS Indomitable, Chen said quietly. She's the flagship of Battle Group Ragnarok, our heavy assault division. She carries enough firepower to sterilize a planet's surface in approximately 40 minutes. We built her and her sister ships not because we wanted to, but because we learned that in a universe full of unknowns, it's better to have overwhelming force and never need it, than to need it and not have it. Thexnall seemed to shrink in his seat, his earlier bluster evaporating like mist under a harsh sun. So you see, Ambassador, Chen concluded, when you mocked our tiny fleet, you weren't insulting our military capability. You were demonstrating exactly why we invest so heavily in reconnaissance. She looked around the chamber, meeting the eyes, or eye analogs, of each delegate in turn, because the side that knows more about their opponent's capabilities has already won half the battle. The Krovar ambassador sat in stunned silence, his mandibles clicking nervously. Now then, Commander Chen said, her voice brightening as if she'd been discussing nothing more controversial than trade routes. Shall we return to the actual purpose of this meeting? I believe we were discussing mutual defense protocols and trade agreements. The Terran delegation is quite interested in establishing peaceful, profitable relationships with all council members. As the meeting resumed, with considerably more respectful tones from the assembled delegates, Commander Chen allowed herself a private moment of satisfaction. Humanity had learned its lessons well. In a galaxy full of predators, it paid to be the species that everyone underestimated, right up until they realized their mistake. And by then, of course, the Recon Force had already told humanity everything it needed to know.